Several people talked about mirrors, and that's exactly what I want to talk about. I want to talk about digital mirrors. And I want to start my talk by taking you on a trip to the future, a typical day in a not so distant future. If I can do the clicker. Oh, right. There we go. So, as I said, typical day, 8 in the morning, time to get up. I look in the mirror, and what do I see? Shards, bits and pieces of my digital identity, strewn across the grid, splashed on the screen, my digital reflections. What do they mean? They tell me things I never knew and give me hints on what to do. Mirror, mirror on the digital wall. What can I do? How am I faring today in the world? Well, let's see. Well, let's see what's on my wall. Well, let's see. Fitbits is telling me that I slept poorly. And it's also telling me that it's going to alert my network that I might be cranky today. That's really not good. What else is happening? Twitter is now chiming in. Looks like my tweets are arrogant. I should try to use more greats and thank yous today. That's not good either. And this is not looking good at all. I knew I should not have eaten that cake last night. I've gained weight and I'm not keeping up with my network. What a way to wake up in the morning. Note to self, no lunch, pack a lot of water, use lots of greats and thank yous, and be super, super nice. Okay, well, that lunch thing didn't work. I didn't skip lunch. Let's see what's happening now. I stare at my mobile, and what do I see? Shards, bits and pieces of my digital identity, strewn on the grid, splashed across the screen. My mobile reflections, what do they mean? Let's see. Oh, my FICO score is tanking. I just got rid of all those credit cards. It's telling me I should take on more debt. That doesn't make any sense. But here's some good news, hopefully, coming in. What's on? I'm now an energy hero. I've been saving energy. I'm using less energy than people in my neighborhood. Yay, I can take that hot shower tonight after all. What else? That's another piece of good news. Basecamp, I'm now one of the 5% of top contributors among my coworkers. Maybe I'll take that extra long coffee break after all. Okay, nighttime. Sleep overtaking, head filled with dreams. I need to check my identity streams. Mirror, mirror on the wall. How am I faring when the night falls? Okay. Oh no, of course. My Facebook network is not very healthy now. I've friended all these people who are overweight and lonely, and you know how contagious that can be. It's giving me suggestions for people to unfriend. Got to do it right away before it's too late. Oh, it is too late. It's screwing up my dating profile. Okay, Cupid is just tagged me as tragic. There go my chances of finding a mate. That's it for me. I can't believe it. My dreams are really turning into nightmares. No Fitbit tonight on me. Okay, bye-bye. Okay, let's now talk about identity. Identity is something we create based on various reference points. Our age, our sex, the place where we grew up, the books we read, the friends we keep, the clubs we join. We bring these reference points together, we aggregate them to create narratives of who we are, narratives of our lives. So when I look at my reference points, these are my analog reference points, the stories that I tell, my narrative, and this is in haiku format, Russian Jewish immigrant miraculously turned into a Silicon Valley futurist. Now, other people may be looking at these reference points and telling a different story, but this is my story and I stand by it. What we're in the process of doing right now is creating many more digital reference points of who we are around virtually every aspect of our lives, around health, about our financial transactions, books we read, our work trails, even our thoughts and feelings as we express them on Twitter or in status updates on Facebook. So these are becoming our own digital mirrors and digital reflections. So I actually find mirrors to be quite fascinating. I've been fascinating with mirrors in the last couple of months, thinking about these notions of digital identities. Like, can you imagine what life was like before we had mirrors, when we had no visual reference points for who we are, what stories we had in our minds about ourselves and about our identities? So as we create these digital reference points, I became fascinated with reading about history of mirrors, and this is just one of the books I've been reading, Mark Pendergrast, about the history of human love affair with mirrors. And one of the things that's quite interesting is that in our history, throughout our history, we used mirrors both to reveal knowledge, reveal things about us, but to also hide and mask things, to hide reality, or prettify reality in many ways. And this is exactly what we're doing and will be doing with these digital mirrors that we are creating. So if I look at my health profile, my health indicators over a long period of time, and I compare them with those of others, all of a sudden I may see that I'm susceptible to certain risks, or I have certain conditions that I need to know. And that's the part about revealing self-knowledge. At the same time, I may use those identity streams and reference points to hide identity. So, for example, in my story on Facebook, I was programming my identity streams to make my Facebook network look healthier. And we're engaging constantly as we're prettifying our Twitter streams or other pieces or reference points. We are programming, in a way, our identity. So that's about masking or hiding reality. And in analog mirrors, what tools did we have for doing that? We're using makeup, we're using clothes to masquerade and hide. And this is what exactly we're going to be doing with this kind of digital information. We're going to be masking, hiding identity, and at the same time, it will be revealing things around us, about us. Another interesting thing about mirrors and the way mirrors have been used is they were also used to divine the future and to give advice. In Middle Ages and Victorian times, there was a special category of magicians called scryers. They basically gazed into mirrors to tell people to divine their future. We have these at the Institute for the Future. If you ever want to have a seance, we can arrange that. And so this is, in a way, exactly the same things that we're doing with our digital mirrors. In my story, if you paid attention, all these reference points were giving me advice. Unfriend these people, go there, take on more debt, be nice, use greats and thank yous. So they were also guiding me and improving my fate. And at the same time, think about all kinds of programmers, all kinds of programs and applications that are running analytics on all this data that basically divining our future. If you run a lot of analytics on a lot of these reference points, you can pretty well predict, for example, where I will go next, or what books I will buy, or what music I will like, or what products I will buy. So we're also going to be using them for divining the future. And it's interesting to think about those things because, in a way, we're all kind of beginning to live in these glass houses where was surrounded by these digital mirrors. And what I keep worrying about, and this gives me pause, is that are we in a stage where we're kind of creating our own generation of these magicians or scryers who are running analytics on our identity streams and giving us and taking something really very complex that's us and our identity and very complicated narratives and spitting out very simplistic notions of who we are: influencer, connector, arrogant, healthy, high risk, low risk. And these are becoming our new reference points. And so my concern and what I worry about and what I hope is not going to happen, in a way you can think about these kind of algorithmic magicians, is a digital version of the scryers and these older kind of medieval magicians who are running and divining our futures. And what I worry about and what I hope is not going to happen is that we cede the richness and the power of our reflection, of our identity, to the new sort of digital merchants of digital mirrors. That's all.